Hello darlings and welcome back. So now we're here in Marvelous Designer, and the step we need to do now is to import our avatar into Marvelous Designer so we can start designing marvelously. So let's do that, right? So what you want to do is go to the top and you want to go to File, Open, and then Avatar, and we're going to just navigate to the folder where we have our Marvelous stuff. Now this is what I was working on my Blading Cats, so you can just ignore that while I try to go and find our Bifrost bunnies. It should be right here, and we see that's where our project file is, the model. Now normally we would just press the M button and then import, but because this came from Maya, and like I kept saying before, it's huge. If we check the M box and open it and click OK, you're like, nothing's here. Well, it's really there. It's just so huge that it can't show up. It doesn't show up. See, this is just the feet. So how do we get it in here and in the proper scale? We're going to go back into our file, open our avatar editor, and we're going to go to File, Open, Avatar, select our model, and this time we're going to press CM instead of meters. So let's check CM this time, and then we press OK. You'll see our bunny pops in, and it's the right scale. That's pretty much it for anybody who didn't watch, who watched our previous classes where we worked in Marvelous Design. Everything else is pretty much the same from here. You can stop watching and then skip on to the next video. But for all you newbies who are learning to make clothes for your bunny, please continue to watch because I'm going to give you the rough basics of how to use Marvelous Designer. So, maybe I should break it off here. Nah, let's keep going. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go to File and then New, and we're going to get a whole new workspace. So I'm going to explain to you what these windows and tools are so you can get on design it, and as well as showing you how to make a t-shirt and a pair of pants, because once you get those down, you'll be able to make pretty much everything else that you want to, except for a few skirts and a few dresses, because those require petticoats. But everything else you should be able to do. Alright, so what we're going to do now is explain to you what these tools are. Marvelous Designer consists of two workspaces. The 3D workspace, which is right here, that allows you to see your 3D model, and the 2D window, which allows you to draw up your pattern and basically arrange your UV maps. The UV maps and your 2D patterns are the same thing. So however it looks on this screen, that's what your UV map for your garment is going to look like when it's all done. In order to create a pattern, you're going to be using these tools mostly up here at the top. Sometimes when some people install it fresh, the 2D tools are missing and it may look like this. If your toolbar looks like this, then all you need to do is right click on the gray space and enable the 2D pattern toolbar, and you should be good. It'll show you all the tools you need in order to start working. So when it comes to working with Marvelous Designer, all you really need to do is draw the shape of the garment and then sew it together over your model. If you have any kind of skills in pattern making with clothes, you're going to shine in this because it actually simulates clothes patterns and stuff like that over a 3D model. But if you don't have any skills or like experience in making patterns, then you're also fine because you can just make the shape of the garment and then sew it together, and then we jazz it up in Blender. You're just using this to get the basic shape of it. So in order to make the shape, you're going to need to use these 2D tools that are up here. The one you're really going to be using is this tool here, is the polygon tool, or the create polygon tool. So I'm just going to click that, and you just click and you can make any shape you want, as long as you come back to the first dot and close it off. The tool next to that is the create rectangle tool. It basically allows you to make quick rectangles and stuff like that. So you don't have to fiddle with the polygon tool and trying to make a rectangle, which is humanly impossible. Like, see, there you go. Physically impossible. You need that tool. So we're going to click on and delete these tools because I don't need it. Next to that is the circle tool, which allows you to create just like the square, it lets you create quick circles or something like that as well in your pattern. So you don't have to use the polygon tool to try to create a circle, because creating a square was impossible. Just imagine trying to do a circle. So we get rid of that. I'm going to create another square so I can show you about these red tools at the top. These are internal tools, and the internal tools work sort of like the regular pattern tool, the internal pattern tool, except for they're not restrained by the connect to the first dot rule that the regular tools are. So, for example, if we wanted to make a crazy zigzag shape here, we can do so and then just double click and there's the shape. Whereas if you try to do that with the normal pattern tool right here, the polygon tool, you'll see it won't let you because you need to connect back to the first dot. And even that won't work because that was messed up. But you see what I mean? And the internal square does the same thing. It allows you to do that. And the internal circle also allows you to, make a circle inside your tool. Now, another thing that they allow you to do, these internal tools, is that you can actually convert them into a hole. So let's press the sync button and sync up our pattern here in a 2D window with a 3D window. And I'm going to click on this circle right here. And I'm just going to right click on it, and then you can see a button that says convert to hole, and you see it tears a hole inside your garment just like that. So that's how you make holes, and that's what the internal tool does. Now you may be wondering, why do I even need these internal shapes anyway? Well, let's say you were making a skirt. Let's pretend like this is a skirt and you wanted, let's make it all skirt like, and you wanted to, well, it just went away now, didn't it? So let's try this one more time so I can give you a fancy example as to why you would need internal tools. Okay, so let's pretend that this is a skirt, and you would like ruffles along the edges of the skirt. You would take the internal tools and create a line here across wherever or however you would want your ruffles to go, and then you can use the regular tools here and sew the ruffles onto your skirt where it is. So I'm just going to freeze this for a second. So freeze, and press play. And you see you will be able to create ruffles along your zigzags or whatever shape you have there. So that's why internal lines are good. Now, one of the things you're going to need to do so you can control other things. I can't see, sorry. See, losing my flow here. So let's talk about the selection tools, which is here on the side. And these are the edit pattern tools. This allows you to edit the pattern, like kind of self-explanatory here. The black one allows you to select multiple, like select patterns as a whole instead of one part. So if I wanted to, let me turn this play off. So if I wanted to select this pattern as a whole, I can just use this black tool and manipulate it, like rotate it, or maybe shrink it down or so. You could use this tool instead of having to use the edit pattern tool and trying to shrink it all down manually like so. You can just use the black thing here and then just shrink it down or rotate it or stretch it out, stuff like that. So press delete. If you want to get rid of a tool that, a pattern that's here, all you have to do is click on it and then press delete on your keyboard and it gets rid of it. So I'm going to create another another box here, and I'll talk about the edit curve, and that allows you to, add a curve to your pattern if you so want to. I like to use this mostly when we're making t-shirts and we have a collar and I want a nice swoop instead of a pointy dip, and you'll see what I mean by that. And this tool right here is to edit the curve point. It allows you to, pretty much like it says, edit the curve's point, give it more definition or so on and so forth, and dictate how it curves and stuff. And this button right next to that is add a point line, and that lets you add more dots onto your pattern so you can get a better manipulation of your garment. So if you want to dip this right here, but we still want to be able to pull this back up, so add this here, like that, and like that. See, you're able to do that, and that's what that this says. Now over here are the 3D tools, but we'll talk about that the best way I can explain it is by showing you how they work in action. So what we are going to do is delete this off, and we are going to start by making our t-shirt. But because we're at the 10-minute mark, I got to make another video, and we'll come back and then we'll be like making clothes. So I'll see you guys in the next one, and we will be making clothes like a pro. Sort of pro. Half-ass pro.